right, we'll move on to another big news item this week, which was, they've been talking about it for a while. Congress has been on top of it, so to speak, Department of Justice, etc. But Google and their fight with the Department of Justice. And so a ruling came out. The judge said, yep, you are being hey, say it for me.
You're being
Monopolistic?
You are monopolistic.
Yeah, let's just say you're a monopoly.
Yes. You are Boardwalk and Park Place. That's not allowed.
Thank you. Yes, and I play that way too much. There is basically in the umbrella of antitrust, and that's what's happening with it. They've gotten too big for their britches, if we want to really dumb it down, and that they spent a lot of money to get in that position and to make themselves basically in trouble with antitrust laws. So they're appealing, of course.
Are they?
There are a lot of contracts written up, like with Apple, with other, like every time you buy something, that's the default. It's the default search.
Understood. But for as much as AI has been taking the forefront, basically AI becomes a direct competitor with Google and Yahoo for search, because instead of going Google it, you're going to ask ChatGPT or whatever version of AI that you're using, hey, tell me XYZ.
Right. Every browser's gonna have their own AI, so it'll be a matter of which one you want. And that's the thing, is they just want to make it more open to where it's easier to choose which one you use, because I've tried. Ooh, that's a rhyme. Because I've actually played with other ones.
That time.
Thank you. Yeah. I've played with other ones, and it's hard to make it your default, and you have to go all the way into settings again. And it's every time you update your phone, it defaults right back to the old one, and you got to go right back into your settings. And I mean, it is kind of monopolistic, if you will, just because I don't say that word much, so it's a good chance. So come in here, Banker. You got something you want to say there? I can tell.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, that's really like the crux of the argument is Google has spent, let's take Apple specifically, and I'll branch off into that point. But they pay Apple $20 billion per year to make them the default search engine. And then to your point, they have done, they will deny it. They have said that, there's other reasons for it, but they have made it more difficult to get a different option. And that because there is no other really good option. I mean, like DuckDuckGo is fine, Bing is fine. I think Safari has their own, but even despite the fact that Safari having their own, it's still, Google is paying hundreds of billions of dollars to all of these various companies to be the default search provider. And I mean, there's nothing more monopolistic than that.
Well, they've done some good too. Have you seen in the latest version of Chrome release?
Well, that's the counter argument, is that what Google is saying is that they own 90% of the market share, and the rest is split, between all of these other search engines. They get to divvy up 10%, and Bing has, I think, like 3 or 4% of it. So you're looking at everything else is divvied up in 6% left.
Yep,
a little bit less because there's extra percentages on the end. And they are arguing that we are the best search engine, and there's no denying that. I mean, they are synonymous with search. I'm going to go Google something, and so
they made it a word.
I certainly get it from both sides, but
the verb, yeah.
The only thing that's really and to really sum this all up, the only thing that's actually going to happen from any of this, it's just going to get buried in litigation for the next 10 years. They're going to end up not paying these companies to do that. They're still going to take 90, they might drop down to like 80% of the market share, but it is the best product out there for searching. Like, yeah, you can throw AI, ChatGPT, whatever, but ChatGPT is not going to give you YouTube links or images or any of this stuff.
It can, though. If you ask it, it can.
It sort of, kind of, and yes, eventually it will be something that is significantly more competitive, but it also, pulls results from like Reddit. And I don't know how much you've delved into Reddit, but there are some dumb
there's some dark alleys in there.
Whatever. So I mean, I feel like Google is providing the best search results, the most trusted search results, and I think that's built on what they've done and the product that they've developed. What they've got to stop doing is forcing it down our throat.
Well,
I
I
agree
think
with
if anytime you have a monopoly, you also have a very easy time to control information, and that's a problem for me. So if you have one company that's like you said, 90% of the info that all you got to do is put whatever info you want or whatever agenda you want as the result of those search engines, and you can control information, and even if it's wrong or right. And so now we have the AI. It's the same issue. You don't know if it's wrong or right. You have to double check it. It's
propaganda.
just it's
Yeah.
a very dangerous time right now because I mean there was some examples lately. By the way, Elon Musk is looking at his own search, of course.
Of course.
But
But you do know that Google is not a search engine. I mean, yes, they do search engine, but that's not that's not where they make their primary money. They make their primary money from selling the data they collect. That's what ABC is about.
No, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
their primary source of income comes directly from the data that they can sell back to people.
That's their income, but
and you know where they get that data.
It is still the biggest and the most known search. And
Well,
and
yes,
that
they also give it out, but they also sell it, right? So while the search engine, yes, it's a search engine because it has lots of sources, lots of nodes, their primary intake is not from what they search, but from what they sell, from what they've collected and what they've correlated. Just like I'm not sure if you guys ever did. Remember when COVID first came out, you had the teledoctors, basically. So they basically set up an appointment on the phone. The $15, $20 doctor visits, those were nothing. You know why? They have your biometrics. They have all of your data. They make their money from reselling your data.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The best business that you could ever be in is one that has no inventory. So basically,
True.
Google figured it out on the front end, and then they had all these clowns following, just collecting data and dispersing it at willy-nilly and making money.
Well, that's been the narrative, of course.
Yeah,
it's always
this morning. It's always that old adage where if you are using a great product and it's free, you are the product.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just a part of Google. You're right, and that's been the narrative this morning on Financial TV. Is that no, don't sell it because that's only just their search engine, which is responsible for very little.
Yep.
My problem though is, like I said, is when it comes to the search, it's what everybody uses, no matter how much money they make off of it, and therefore they can control information, and I have a problem with that. So I think that's what Congress also is trying to get at too, is that it's just there's just too much power being given to them, whether it be disinformation or correct information. And we'll kind of leave it there.